Hi, welcome to episode 16 of my Iratus playthrough. Today we are entering Act 4, the Catacombs. We're going to face a lot of nasty new things in here, and this act overall was for me the moment when I realized if you rely too hard on Iratus' spells, this act will punish you severely for it. The enemies on this act are quite good at abusing your direct spells and a lot of other nasty things. So we're going to head into the first battle. So you can see these guys are some kind of automatons, and there's this hooded fella. I'm going to explain them along the line. Now, first off, we need to bring up some team. I do already know that these automaton fellas are immune to stress damage, so we're definitely not going to pick up a stress formation. I upgraded the arena completely and filled it up with new recruits because we're severely out of brains. We don't have any new brains, so every lost unit will be a much harder loss than usual. So going to bring up some, well, who are we going to pick up? The Headhunter is always a very, very solid choice if you want to have some armor ignoring damage and straight up some really hard hitting damage. I think I'm going to bring up a skeleton on the second slot, but I'm going to bring up this guy here. He's quite low level. If we lose him, it won't be that horrible. He's even completely trained in the arena, so we don't lose anything if we is going to get destroyed here. Okay, I'm going to upgrade the sudden strike into armor and block ignoring characteristics, and smite the show-offs. Well, I'm going to get that buff skill here. I do like that one as well. And for slot 3, well, how about the Bride? Magic damage? That seems okay. And for slot 4, well, a lost soul for supportive qualities, I don't know. I'm not too big fan of that. A blood phantasm for, well, ooh, no. I feel like I'm running on a low budget here, and I actually am, and it's no really good feeling here, I have to say. I don't feel too well with that, so let's hope I will be recovering from this as soon as possible. I'm really just missing a lich right now. So, well, no, I'm going to stick with that plan. But I forgot to level up the skeleton completely. I'm going to feature a little bit more strength and attack damage here. And some accuracy, that's good. So, oh well, let's go for the Lost Soul. It's a quite versatile unit after all. So I'm going to go for Substitute World and reduce the Wrath costs to a quite low amount, which is good because the skill is quite utility oriented, and I like it when this comes cheap. And looking at those, oh well, let's upgrade the Vigor. This is quite powerful after all. I'm going to go over the items real quick. So this young fella here, what can he go for? The Bane Aura sure is quite useless in this scenario. Well, don't even have an item for this poor guy. So, Contract of Blood on him. Apart from that, I don't need... Oh, Mechanical Eye. Yeah, let's do that. Mechanical Eye is such a great item on the Headhunter, because he comes with a quite low accuracy as a, well, I would say, base drawback. And, well, this eliminates the problem. I don't want to give up his AoE skill. It's the only AoE skill he has. Okay, oh well, some more armor. Let's go. So this was again quite some for planning. Oh, she still has a skill left. Extra critical damage or more base damage. Let's go for the extra critical. Let's roll. So this is going to be a quite easy fight because it's only 3 guys, but so here we go. The living armor, meet your personal nightmare. So these guys get 50% plus on attack until the end of battle each time Iratus casts a spell. Immune to stress attacks, does not escape. As far as I remember them, if I'm not completely mistaken, you can't even dispel this buff. I'm not sure about that because the last time I went through this act, I completely avoided casting spells because the punishment is so severe. These guys feature 30 armor, so good luck with cutting through that. But they have no resistance, so this is a natural weakness, and they don't have any luck or evasion, so at least you can hit them quite easily. They feature some block, and yeah, there we go. The Spell Thief has a kit revolving around stealing mana from Iratus and buffing his guys with that. That's the long story short about that. There's not much more about them to say for now. Okay, so I'm going to give some raging boon on this fella here. A slight debuff for 2 units of ward, so I can heal him later without problems. So I'm going to start focusing one of these armors first. So, well, let's use Adore him. I want to buffer up a little bit before we go. Alright. So, 2 random enemies. Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, that cuts down the blocks. That's something I wanted to have. So, this attack here has pretty low damage per blow. So as you see, with a good value of armor, you can completely block away the damage. Pretty powerful, and high armor units work pretty good against the living armors, if you don't buff their attack, that is. So I'm giving some ward. This attack, though, as far as I've seen, ignores armor pretty much. So let's see if I can bounty away the Spell Thief. There we go. Good guy. I like the Hat Hunter. Once you've established him a little bit deeper, I feel like on the higher levels he becomes a real beast. On the lower levels, I felt like let's knock away the wards. I felt like the natural low accuracy of his felt to me like a quite big drawback. And now, especially with the mechanical eye or a few more accuracy upgrades later, this guy gets more and more reliable and quite scary. So with 1 stack of ward on him, I don't mind healing him. Kind of get the attack next time. There we go. That's why I wanted to strip down the ward. I'm going to smack the other guy with physical damage, and I'm going to kill this guy with damage over time attacks. Alright. This is going rather well. So, with the proper preparation, as you see, things are not as horribly hard here. But believe me, without good preparations, and if you would ignore that feature of them alone and start casting spells as usual, that's bad. let's sum it up as that's bad. There we go. But like this, these guys are quite beatable. Boom. There we go. Give me some brains! Come on, brains! Oh, well, Martyr's Rags. 100% chance to redirect and attack targeting an ally directly behind them. 100% chance. Ooh, that's a fancy thing. So, permanent tanking for 1 slot behind you. Good stuff. I like that. So we got a smoke bomb out of there. Nice. Good outcome for this fight. So we get the same combat again for the next fight. So I'm going to switch over to another guy who wants to give it a go. The zombie is one guy I really like to pick up for these kinds of fights as well. Oh, well, I go for the resistance ignoring stat. I don't know, I always feel like ignoring resistance feels to me a little bit bigger than ignoring wards, because stripping resistance away from somebody is way harder to achieve than stripping away those wards. At least that's my feeling about it. So that's why I pretty much most of the time favor the resistance ignoring skills over the other ones. But so far, I've never seen enemies stacking ward to an obnoxious degree, so maybe that's happening later, who knows. Okay, so for this fight I'm going to go for the same strategy. I'm just using some other source of damage with the zombie. Spreading out wards to give the chance to heal units again, and we're going to go for a self-buff first again. This is such a powerful skill. Post for 14 attack is so massive. Alright, so Vorpal Slash. There we go, one block gone. So, Accurate Volley. I'm going to use this. So, I feel like going for the same strategy again. Maybe. Let's go for Enraging Boon here. Ow, that hurts. Ooh, the 50% chance is strong in me today. Like, that was the third time in a row that this resulted in an insta-kill. Boom. That's so much damage on that skill after the self-buff. And the most insane thing about that, she can't even repeat that. Like, she can use that several times on herself. But, it takes time, and this game heavily revolves around quick combats most of the time. Most of the time, this game wants you to resolve combats as quick as possible, I feel like. The game takes a lot of incentive into that, and this makes skills like these maybe extremely powerful, but if I do this double, well, let's do this double for once. I might be hitting like a truck, but I gave up 2 actions, and this is a buff which can be removed by the enemies as well. Keep that in mind. So, let's keep firing here. There we go. Prepare some more healing. Now the luck has dropped. I mean, 4 times in a row would have been quite insane. But it would have, I certainly wouldn't have said no to that. Alright, so let's go for this guy. 60 damage, guys. 60 damage. Plus 40 more on the next turn. So this guy's a goner now. Boom. Alright. Last guy. Let's use this one. Almost. So, yeah. This made the attacks of her insanely strong, but at the same time, there were like 6 actions happening around her on the own team. It has a price, that's all I want to say. And I want to emphasize it a little bit harder because it looks quite big, but it is still pretty balanced in my opinion. It's not super strong. Giving up an entire action is a lot in this game. Okay, where will we go now? So heading over this route looks pretty nice, but this will end in elite combats at some point. that looks scary. Elite combats on this floor are something I'd really prefer to avoid. And there's a coward's way through this. Let's take that. Because honestly, most of the time, I'm able to manage these guys, okay? But I really felt like they were getting on my nerves when I got through this the first time. Like, okay. Here we have some new enemies here. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. So, alright. I found some brains. Let's insert some brain into the Lich. He sounds like a perfect recipient for intellect, don't you think? So, 20. Nice. Okay, so we're going to upgrade pretty much everything with that level, I think. Or 2, 4, 6. This should be everything. So let's start with... Oh, well. Do I want to? Yeah, I want to. I want to have a nasty boy. The shrapnel is super good to use in combination with a lost soul. So I'm going to use that. Command undead. I'm going to take that into dominate undead to buff up the front row really good. And I'm going to go for the cruel sacrifice. This reduces the vigor gain, but spending no action on that is so good. And we're going to go for the armor and resistance strip. And this here, where's the differences again? Ooh, the shuffle of doom. I like that. And we're going to get the cheaper or the stronger minion. I'm going to go for the cheaper minion. Cost efficiency is something I like to go for. A burning skull, since I have one. And, well... Cannibal's jaw would be really good too, but I don't have that. Apart from that... Oh yeah, some more damage over time. Sounds awesome. Let's spend some stat points here. Accuracy plus. I'm going to go for some defensive skills here as well, and more into EV. I went for a quite moderate amount of attack and dread and invested more heavily into defensive stats. I just like to go like this. I'm more of the careful kind of guy. Okay. So let's go for half the shuffle. I'm gonna go for the Banshee. Who's my frontliner? Oh, can I kill people like this? No. I need some real boom in the front line. Like, the Lich can't do all the killing alone. I need somebody who's able to take down people as well. I think the Headhunter gets another go. So you see, this guy is a very versatile person, so we're going to give him another part in this show. Okay, let's head forward. Or, yeah, this would result in an elite fight again. So, due to the fact that I want to avoid the elite fights as much as possible, my pathing is a little bit limited, but let's get into this. So, here's your next combo. You know the living armor. Here goes the Warden. He's immune to debuffs, and he's insanely tanky. 24-24, that's a lot. Very accurate. Damage is pretty low. He has skills to protect his allies, and due to this debuff immunity, you see 270 of both. Quite hard to kill. Spell Thief we already know, and the Sorceress is, well, pull it. She's a healer, okay? There's not much more to say about her role than she's a healer. She will escape though, is she the last remaining member, but honestly, keeping her as the last remaining member is kind of like the last thing you actually want to do. So we're going to go for the Enraging Boon here to get up the wards. because you really want to take her down as quick as possible. It's so hard to kill other people in the formation as long as she's up and alive. So, there goes the Headhunter. Good old Mr. One-Shot. So this simplifies things a little bit. Alright. I can use the shrapnel safely. So, there we go. Just cutting down some wards here. The Banshee has the second slipper, restoring her 20% of her vigor that when she gets missed, which is a very powerful thing. So, oh, she can't use that stance here. Oops, my bad. Okay, well, whatever. Let's focus this guy a little bit. And go for more stacks of that stuff. Ideally, I want to spread some stacks on the Banshee as well, but I don't know if I'm able to do that. So I'm going to... Well, Sundering Wrath won't be working on this guy, but I'm going to try it on this guy here. Sundering Wrath is basically a time-delayed attack on a certain square. So if this guy would move now, it would be hitting somebody else. Because I don't like the formation as it is, I'm commanding him back in front. Obey. He's such a sympathetic person, don't you think? And now we have even more damage on this guy. Wonderful. So, let's see. Oops, that was not too smart of mine. Let's check how hard this will hit on him. And let's go for this one. And we're now ready to use the Lich. Ow. That's some damage, though. Alrighty. So, Bedlam will be no more a bad thing for me. We all have wards. The guy even got missed. Wonderful. Okay. Let's, well, it was at least some damage, but the Sundering Wrath here is not really good. So, I'm going to Vorpal Slash. This guy has, after all, a chance to insta-kill people with this attack anytime he does that. So, why not give it a shot, you know? Let's go for Benevolent Spirit here. And keep doing this. The damage over time is the biggest problem here. But, boom, one shot. Wonderful. Ooh, this will hurt her a lot. I misplayed that. I really thought... I somehow, it somehow slipped my attention that, her, warding stacks were down. My bad. Alright, there's only this guy left now. So, since you can't debuff them, I really like to use stress damage on them. I just misclicked it there. And I also love to use the Corrosive Cloud on them to actually get rid of them. Because they might be immune to debuffs, but this still strips their armor and resistance off them. So, this is a little workaround against their immunity, so this makes them easier to kill. But stress damage also pierces through the resistances of the enemy, so you can actually use that as well. Mr. One-Shot here, though, does like this as well. Okay, so I guess this was 100 Catacomb enemies. There we go. No brains again. I'm out of brains. I feel like I found a lot more brains when I did the first run during the early access phase. I feel like the drop rate of brains got reduced. What do you say? So, I want to learn the Dispel, because removing all debuffs from my minions and all buffs from the enemies is such an awesome package I want to have. And since I'm already so heavily invested, I might as well get the achievement there and learn Conjure Shadows as well. This is a pretty strong skill if you consider that it's only 25 mana. So with this skill, your formation is hard to break, because you always have reinforcements. Alright, so we can here restore a squad. Wonderful. Let's do that. Because mana is practically worthless to me, due to the fact that pretty much everybody here punishes me for using skills, and as long as a single living armor is around, I'm not using any skills. Any spells, I mean. And yeah. So, let's... I got to think about the Banshee. The Banshee felt pretty useless in this formation right now. The buff stripping sure was quite nice, but didn't really scratch the itch I had on this formation. So, what? I have no brains, and I certainly have no brains leaving this free. No, just kidding. I have no brains, and I'm not having... I have to use my resources. Foolish me. So let's expand the base a little bit. Because I have parts. Parts are not the problem. Okay. Finishing the Abode of Wrath needs more souls than I have. For the library, I will need a unit I can't have right now. And the obelisk, though. Let's craft another mummy real quick. And then I'm going to select somebody to get to the next fight here. There we go. 100 souls for that. 200 souls for that. So, yeah. Now I gotta be... collecting souls again. Okay. Okay. Who are we picking up now? I mean, I can't afford a mummy, I guess. I really thought that bringing a mummy would be more of a problem for the formation, but as a matter of fact, the Headhunter and the Lich are all the punch I need to bring down physical... to bring down people with physical damage, so maybe the mummy is a good choice after all. Because, like I mentioned before, in this act, a few enemies in this act are also quite vulnerable to stress damage. But in this act, you almost never meet formations on the enemy side which are vulnerable to only one sort of damage. And like here, a full stress combo would practically be useless against the living armor in the long run. So here again, we're going to focus down the sorceress as quick as possible, because she's just that dangerous. So I'm going to pick that to try to keep wards up on everybody. Let's see if we're lucky. Damn, Mr. One Shot. So, I don't know if a 50-50% chance of an execute is fair or such, but I don't care about fair. So this guy is debuffing his luck, like, severely. I don't mind. Keep going. And, what up next? I'm going to put down a Corrosive Cloud here. Mainly to strip off the ward. And here we're going to... I'm not going to try to curse this guy, because that's not going to work anyways, but... Oh, just the wrong skill. No! I wanted the other one. Okay. I love it when I say the one thing and basically do exactly the opposite thing. So... Oh well. I would have loved to execute this guy, but too greedy. Alright. Let's punch down the corrosive clouds. The best thing about the clouds is they are hurting everybody. Even the people immune to stress damage, getting stripped off all their resistances is quite bad as well. This was the one. There we go. Alright. So everybody has ward. I really need to increase the ward stacks on the Lost Soul on her. She gets naturally to use Bad Lemon a little bit more often. Because I feel like this is such a wonderful skill. It's a shame not to use it more. Okay, let's Warple Slash. Okay. 44 damage! Ah, that's how it hurts when they don't have armor. Okay. Let's Alright, there goes the insanity. Maybe I can recruit a vampire here. That would be nice. Okay. I feel like it's time to heal somebody, but the ward stacks aren't just not enough. I want to ignite the people here, so let's go. The spell is just so much damage, it's a shame to not use it if you're able to. So, as lucky as I might be with the Abyssal Bounty, the first skill, it basically never did the thing. I have a 5% extra chance to kill people, and I have a 5% chance to immediately kill people. It actually never happened during this whole episode, even though it should. I mean, it's quite amusing, considering how often the ultimate skill did execute people. Okay, he wants to escape, but I can't turn him into a vampire. He's immune to that, because I can't debuff him. Or is he? I don't know, actually. Am I daring to try it? Yeah, I'm daring to try it. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work, but yeah, there we go. Like I thought. So now it has the increased damage, but it's not that terrible. Okay, I tried. I assumed as much, but okay, I have ward stacks. Maybe we can turn this guy into a vampire, though. So let's see if I am able to do something about that. Maybe he'll flee, who knows. Until then, I'm going to buff my peeps a little bit. Come on, just run away. We don't want to hurt you anymore. We're done with that. This guy, he will execute him now. No? Okay. He'll have one more turn, but he gets a heart attack. That's okay. Ooh, fresh brains. Nice. Okay, the broken orb receives block and ward when it... That sounds nice. And a new contract of blood, and a new brain. So I'm going to end this episode here. I think this is a very good point to do that. We have our feet in Act 4. It might be looking quite nice so far, but we didn't meet the really bad units yet. So as with every act, the real nasty guys show up deeper in the act. So feel free to drop me a comment down below. I would always love to hear from you guys. And as usual, feel free to give me your support on this video with a like, a share with your friends, or even a subscription to this channel. It would mean a lot to me, but I don't mind if you don't either. I just hope you had enough fun to come back for another episode. And, well, take good care. Until then, goodbye.